What's happening, MacBook Pandas? Peter Von Panda here. Hey, I bought this hard shell case for my MacBook 12-inch Retina, and I wanted to just check this out because I thought it'd be cool to kind of switch up the color scheme a little bit. This one is in black, and I'm kind of curious if this will be nicer than the one I have, especially with, particularly in the gold MacBook, which I have, which is like a champagne color. It's always a little hard to color match, but it's all right. I don't mind a challenge. This is what we get, and it was kind of called like a PU leather material, but it definitely doesn't really feel or look much like leather. It definitely has a little bit of texture, but it almost looks like a polyester type of material. It is a relatively soft, grippy touch material, but in terms of a leather simulation, I'd call it pretty poor. Otherwise, the inside is pretty standard. They take kind of a hard shell case. I do like the fact that they aren't covering the vent holes on this. Sometimes when they take these hard shells and line them, those vent holes get covered. Still have a cutout right here, but it's a really, really thin covering. And you can see it doesn't even wrap around the edge here. So they just kind of glue it down, and it's kind of like a melted edge. It looks fine. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look great. You can see here that you get a little bit of a stair step effect where it's going to press there, and then the top and the bottom are tethered, and we have a white stitch that holds them. I actually kind of like this because, especially when you put these in, you can't cover this hinge because it has to move, and so it's really it's a weakness of these cases where you have potentially the bottom of your monitor getting scratched. So I actually like that this hinge is covered here. I do expect it to kind of create a little bit of a bulge as you open it up, and then on the bottom we have that same material. Not a bad proxy for like a fabric, but it definitely looks like a manufacturer petroleum-based fabric. Little white silicone feet right here. Now let's go ahead and see about putting the sucker in and see what it looks like. I will say that we do have little tabs on the bottom on both sides, right in front of where the ports are. That's pretty typical. And then right at the front leading edge of the keyboard. And then on the top portion we have little tabs right at the top, and then really hugging the outside corners because you need that free hinge, so you have two over there too. So here's my 12-inch MacBook, and why don't we just put the bottom in first. I like doing that so that I'm kind of slide that front edge into catch those clips, and then I kind of push it down here, get that side in and that side in. Now that is completely in, and then I actually usually like trying to get the top of the back portion of the case on first, so that if I do mar anything up, it's down here where you won't see it, and then I'll snap the bottoms, kind of muscle it down here and get these bottom tabs on. All right, went off camera there. Getting these last tabs to close. I get that it's a tight fit because you don't want it to come off, but man, I was kind of delicately muscling them. I like how close this rolled edge, this cover edge, it stays to the computer. If I open it up here, you can see it kind of loosens up, but never becomes intrusive or in the way. I don't know if you'll be working on your lap or something like that, but when it's on a flat surface, it just kind of folds under its own weight. But you do get it to bulge just a little bit. I will say that the black, I think, in terms of match to the gold color, looks pretty good. It's kind of matches the turned off screen and the key, so it kind of looks pretty good. We don't have any of the ports or the microphones covered up, or the headphone jack there. We have the USB-C port right there, completely accessible, and you've got the edges here protected pretty nicely. And I will say that I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I will probably roll with this here for a while. It certainly sits and stays in place without a problem, and looks pretty clever. Looks pretty clever. Not a lot of money either. About 14 bucks I think is what I paid for it on Amazon. I wish the material looked a little bit more leather-like, but I think in terms of making it nice and slim, giving it a little bit of texture to hide fingerprints, hide scratches, certainly protect the aluminum chassis here. I think overall, it's a pretty good value and looks pretty decent, and I kind of forgive the fact that it doesn't look like leather because it was at a price point that doesn't really deserve probably a lot of engineering check it out. I'll put a link to it in the description. Peter Von Panda out.